Welcome fans of the 1980s DTM racing in Germany. Look what we have here. Two heroes from that era. For those of you who know the history, this is a Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.316. Happens to be an EVO 2 model. Discuss that later. This car was dominating German touring car, okay? Killing everybody. It's got a high revving 2.3 liter four banger, makes about 240 horsepower-ish. Excellent suspension, steering, very, very brilliant car, okay? So, Mercedes introduces this puppy, it's killing it in touring car. BMW, personal favorite of mine, is racing the E30 325 race car, which when this guy got introduced, the E30 got kicked to the can, okay? It got his butt whooped. So, Stuttgart sent this out. Munich said, we have a solution. So very quickly, they came up with a revised chassis, revised suspension. They took the motor from the famous M1 supercar, hacked off 2 cylinders, and as the story goes, in 14 weeks, they came out with the S14 motor, and lo and behold, God's gift to automobiles, the E30 M3 was introduced to do battle with that puppy. So these two brave warriors fought like animals in the 80s. Now, luckily for us BMW guys, this guy did an excellent job of beating that guy many, many, many times. But it's very close. If you look at the specs of these cars, they're both so close. As I said, that's a 2.3 liter inline 4 high revving motor. Guess what this is? A 2.3 liter inline 4 high revving motor. Suspensions are super similar. Horsepower again, 240-ish, very similar to this. They are like two brothers from another mother, okay? It is amazing how similar these two cars are. But those of you who know these cars know how rare it is today to have two of these cars in one place at the same time. That's why we had to do this video, okay? To kind of give you a little tour. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna pop the hoods open, we're gonna take a look at the engines, the interiors, and talk a little bit more about these fabulous cars. Before you eagle-eyed viewers say, oh, that's not a 2.3, that's a 2.5. Yes, you are correct. This model happens to be the EVO 2, which is punched out to 2.5 liters. Just wanna make sure we're all clear about that. The really cool thing about this motor in particular, it was developed by Cosworth for Mercedes. So it's a very cool, very, very cool motor. The other special features this particular car has, this has the adaptive suspension. So you can see at the shock towers in the front, there are hydraulic lines running to the shock tower. These dampers are adjustable in the 80s. It is a thing of beauty. Mercedes did an awesome job with this motor. It still drives like a brand new car. It's really quite amazing, all of the technology that Mercedes put into this little monster. Did you look at the side skirts, the fender flares? This is a badass looking car. Like even by today's standards. I mean, look at the wing back here. Look at this huge monstrous wing back here with the ducktail spoiler, okay? I mean, I'm not a Mercedes guy, but this is truly a beautiful, beautiful example of a evolution of a street car. And it is street legal, perfectly, you know, the client has plates for it and everything. Super special car, super special car. Now, let's go over to the E30 M3. On my left side, I have an E30 M3. Now, let me be very clear. This is a regular E30 M3 with a 2.3 liter S14 motor. We have had an EVO 3 in the shop, which guess what? Happens to have a punched out 2.5 liter four-banger motor, very similar to that one. But this, again, is a regular 2.3 liter S14 motor. Let's take a quick gander at the motor. And this is interesting how the Mercedes hood opens like a regular car, and this, like all E30s, opens this way. Gotta do things differently. So, I present to you the mighty S14. At first glance, notice how it looks eerily similar to the Cosworth motor on that side of the house. Just an observation on my part. Again, inline four-banger, all right, high revving, A little imbalanced because BMW did just hack off 2 cylinders of the motor from the M1 and made this motor, and again, history says 14 weeks. So not super well balanced, okay? The motor does shake quite a bit, the car does shake quite a bit, but can I tell you, anyone who's ever driven E30 M3 will tell you how brilliant these cars are. Both cars just, it's not about straight line speed, never is. Compared to today's cars, the average Honda Civic with 300 plus horsepower would destroy both of these cars in a straight line. Destroy them, okay? There'd be no comparison in a straight line. Magic comes when the curves start to happen. These cars are about carving corners. These cars are about hitting apexes, okay? Whether you're on a local highway, taking an off-ramp, or whether you're at a local racetrack on a track day or something, or again, when these cars were raced, you know, when they were actually racing, they're about how to carry speed through a corner, how to manipulate the chassis so it slides just enough so you carry that speed through the corner. That's what these two cars are about, not straight line speed. So what else can I tell you about these cars? Like I said, I mean, look at the tires. The E30 M3 is wearing a 225/45/16. That's minuscule compared to most cars, say, that have 18s or 19s or even 20s on them. They're tiny tires. The EVO here is not that much different. It's a 245/40/17. So the 17 versus a 16. But again, compared to today's cars, not huge at all. These cars are such cool time capsules of what the 80s are. Let's take a look on the inside, shall we? Let's take a look at the interior of an E30 M3. Come on in closer. All right, so E30 M3 interior. No digital stuff, no funny colors, no flashing radio or anything like that. Driver-oriented controls. Look at this. 2 big pods here. You've got the tach and you've got the speedometer. Temperature gauge, fuel gauge. That's it. You don't need any of the data, okay? Nice big steering wheel. It feels good in the hands. Yes, it has a stereo. It has a little bit of a data screen here. Nothing very complicated, but look at how simple the controls are. This car is all about driving, no nonsense driving, okay? That's what I love about cars from the 80s. They didn't focus on gadgets and digital and stuff like, especially German cars. German cars focused on the driving experience, and that's what this car and the EVO are all about. Let's take a look at the interior of the EVO, or the 190e 2.316. A little more luxury. We have power seats. Ooh, not the manual seats that are in the E30 M3. But look at the dashboard. Super simple. Dead center, you have your speedometer. Off to the right, you have your tach, and then, you know, water temperature, oil pressure, fuel, that sort of thing. You have your climate control, again, like the E30 M3 had right in the middle, a radio, and that's really about it. Again, driver focused. They want you to enjoy the driving experience, not the ritz and rattle of all the LED lights and the other stuff that cars of today have. So, something else we haven't discussed. What about all the nannies? All the electronic, you know, grandmothers that save you from crashing your poor car? Guess what? Nothing! Neither car has anything like that. ABS, that's it. As God in heaven intended it to be. So guess what? You gotta be a real man to drive these two cars. Because guess what? It's up to you what the car does. There's no nanny to save your buttocks in case you go into a corner too hot. You end up in a tree. That's your problem, not the car's. So again, same thing, super simple interior, driver-oriented controls, a true driver's car. Brilliant. Let's give her a little start, shall we? Listen to that. Not super loud, not super throaty, but serious. Serious, serious, serious. Let's take a look at what the motor looks like, shall we? Listen to that Cosworth engine run. It's actually quite smooth. You know, that's one of the things I find interesting about these two cars when you compare them. We're going to start the E30 M3 in a moment, and you'll see what a difference. This car is buttery smooth. Listen to that motor. Not loud, not pretentious, just serious. All right, so now, let's give the E30 M3 a start, shall we? Listen to the motor rev. It's serious. It's not super loud, but if you have an eye for engines, you can hear this engine is clearly not as well balanced as the Kazi engine in the Mercedes. Hear that? No, sounds good, sounds serious, just not as well balanced. That's all. Listen to that S14 rev. This car doesn't make power until you get like beyond 5,000 RPMs. Again, you hear that? It's not as smooth as the Kazi engine is. Still a beautiful motor. That's all for now. We'll see you guys again real soon at Club OffCamber.